The year was 1984. The date, August 29, exactly 36 years ago, when I raised my hand and swore an oath to serve and protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I take that oath more seriously today than I did back then. I was just a dumb kid back then. I didn't know nothing. But I scored exceptionally well on a mechanical aptitude test, which in a way ruined my chances at a promising career in the military. Because that higher than normal score got the attention of what I have called on several occasions the smart dumb guys that run everything. They don't really have any talent of their own, but their biggest talent, I suppose you could say, is using people to accomplish their goals that they can't accomplish on their own. That's how this game is played, you know. And they enjoy nothing better than when we volunteer and finance destroying ourselves. It gives them a warm fuzzy. So how does it work? They play on your vanity and your ego, telling you how talented you are and how special you are and how you'll fit in better with their kind than you ever would with the real people of the world, because they understand all the same things you'd hear if a cult was looking to recruit you. Because in the end, that's pretty much what it is. And it all sounds great in the beginning. It all sounds so appealing. And in turn, you will bust your ass for the people who are stroking your ego and making you feel special. And along the way, eventually, those very same people will start showing their true colors and start promoting things that you might not necessarily believe in, at least wise in the beginning. And if you're drawn in enough and feel included enough, you will change your views, kind of like somebody in high school who's submitting to peer pressure in order to be accepted, in order to be included. Because it's the rare individual who is going to rebel against someone who's stroking their ego, who's telling them what a talented person they are, and so forth and so on. I really am not going to get into specifics in this video because I've told this story before. And if you want to understand it or be able to wrap your thoughts around it, I would suggest you look at my improper repair series, because the overview of all of my experiences in the military is all in there. But eventually it goes like this: you're not one of them, you're one of us. And because you're one of us, we're going to let you in on what we believe, on what our philosophy is. And in a nutshell, the philosophy is elitism, class warfare. We deserve more than you do because we have more whatever than you do. That's the general philosophy. And the general public who doesn't subscribe to their ideology doesn't deserve what they have. And we have all heard people over the years talk like that were in a position of power, holding office. In particular, a certain president who served two terms before the current one. As an example of one of the statements that he's made that proved to me that he's one of them, the smart, dumb guys that run everything, is when he came out and tried to convince the American public that the individual business owner didn't build their business, that someone else did it for them through tax breaks, incentives, or what have you, and that it belonged to the public, or more importantly, from his philosophy, the government or the state. It was about that time that I ran across a guy who had a radio show / podcast based out of Texas. And seeing as how he had been mentioned by the smart, dumb guys that run everything, I decided I needed to check him out and see what he had to say. And I'll be damned if he wasn't repeating some of the exact same ideas and philosophies that I had heard years before. He never told me a damn thing I didn't know. He merely confirmed them. And that started to get me to thinking, and quite frankly, scared the hell out of me of the prospects of our future. Because what I had heard back then was no longer just words, was no longer just some crazy stinking philosophy that I had heard and rejected. Now is real. Now there's somebody else confirming everything that I had heard so many years before. Then along came the 2016 election. A roller coaster ride of lunacy. And that started getting me even more nervous. Because I had heard back then, we own both sides. And when the day comes, there's nothing that the people are going to be able to do. And we will seize power and change the way of life in this country, if not throughout the world. What got my attention back then when I was still in the military was a particularly unpatriotic first lieutenant tell me right to my face when I told him I believed in freedom, liberty, and the Constitution. And this is a direct quote. Son, you can forget about your patriotism. In the future, that will only make you the enemy. And who are the enemies right now? The people who believe in freedom. The people who believe in the Constitution. But I was just a dumb kid back then, and I wasn't able to put it all together until some years later, when they tried to run a candidate that I knew wasn't fit for office, that I knew was corrupt, that I knew was their choice to stab America in the back. And thank God she didn't win that election, because I probably wouldn't be making this video right now. Up until that time, I was more concerned with the strange happenings in the sky, the weird shit that's been going on in the solar system and stuff like that. But then I realized something. That really doesn't matter. That's beyond our control. And we better focus and concentrate on things that are. Because this country and the Constitution matters as far as I'm concerned. And like I have said at the beginning of this video, I took an oath. So I changed what I was talking about on YouTube and any other social media platform that I was on, because that takes priority out of us over a situation that we can't control. Because this is within our control, even now, up to this day. Because the events of 2016 proved something to me that I've always believed, that it's all about the Constitution. And it's all about the power of the people. And the power of the people, not the establishment, made it possible that everything that the smart, dumb guys that run everything were planning on doing could potentially all fall apart if only we're willing to participate, if only we're willing to use our voices, if only we're willing to believe in the Constitution and the foundations of this country. So here's the reality of the situation, and I'm going to wrap it up because this has already went way too long. It's a whole new ball game since the 2016 election. And this is our last chance to get this right and deal with what's at hand. And if we don't, we may never get this opportunity again. Because according to what I know, once they gain complete control, once it's gone, it's gone.